Time is our most valuable asset, and unfortunately, everyone and everything around us wants to take it.
So we're going to tell you about our struggles trying to divide our time, and also tell you the top 3 things that could be stealing your time from you, and you might not even know it. Welcome to Beard and Basil. I'm Jason.
And I'm Kara.
And today we're talking about time. And we're going to try to make this quick because you probably don't even have time to watch this entire episode.
No time. No one has time.
We get statistics, guys. We know how much you watch. Calling our viewers out. We're just going to turn it off right now. Don't turn it off. Keep watching. Sorry. But time is a really tricky thing. It's a finite resource.
Yeah. We can't get it back.
Yeah, we are stuck inside of time as human beings, and we have to deal with it. Mm-hmm. We only have so much of it in a day. We only have so much of it in a lifetime, and we have to decide what we do.
Yeah, or not decide.
Yeah, or not decide. And you can just let life go by and coast through and do whatever comes to you, but we don't recommend that, and that's what we're going to talk about. So in life, you have different roles, right?
Right.
And you're deciding every day to put a certain amount of time into each role.
Yeah, so it's like a big
pie. It's a time pie.
And every role is divided.
Mm-hmm.
So as a child, you start out as a son or daughter, brother, sister, friend, student, and with all those roles, your time is divided.
Yep.
And then as you grow older, you become an employee, and then your time is more divided. Mm-hmm. And if you decide to get married and have kids, then your time is even more divided. Mm-hmm. And so it just becomes this, like, you have so many roles to fulfill that you have to decide what is priority in your life, and that's going to look different for you than for us.
Right.
But deciding what roles is going to get your time it's really important.
Yeah, and it's hard, because your time, the big thing you realize, especially when you get a job, you have kids, you get married, your time doesn't belong to you.
And it seems like there's never enough.
And there's never enough of it. So you're never going to be able to give every role of your life as much time as it wants or as you want to give it. So you kind of have to be intentional in saying, this is going to get this much time, this is going to get this much time, right?
Yeah. And if you're not intentional, it's really easy for it to be wasted.
Or, if you're not being specific about it, they can kind of bleed together, right?
That's true too. They could, each roles could steal time from each other. So one thing as a mom, I also work part-time from home. So it's really easy for when my time is supposed to be dedicated to being with the kids, that I'm on my computer or doing something else. So my work is stealing time from being a mom.
Right.
And so it's those kind of roles that when I'm a mom, I need to be a mom and I need to be present and paying attention to the kids, versus work can wait, or it can wait till nap time, or it can wait until the evening time, or whenever I have that time dedicated to work. Yeah. Exactly.
So for me, for instance, and this is just a very general example of what my day on a weekday might look like. And this isn't how every day goes, because
it's just an
I'm not
average.
that dedicated, and I struggle with putting my time where it should go, like anyone else. So I wake up, I try to have quiet time, do some exercise in the morning, if I can wake up that early. And this is very
7?
Yeah, 6 or 7-ish.
Oh my god!
All right, let's not get into it. It doesn't happen all the time, but if I can, that's a time I try to set apart to do exercise and spend some time with God. And so after that, I start working, and then I work from 8 to 5. And so that time I'm dedicating to work. I'm saying they're paying me to work, so I need to focus on work.
Give them your time.
That chunk of time, piece of the pie, belongs to them. I shouldn't be doing other stuff during that work time. Right. And after that, I come home, and then I'm a dad. So I need to focus on my kids. And I've tried to do this too. And dads, I really suggest trying this, is when you pull into the driveway at home, take a second, sit in your car, and say, I'm stopping my role as an employee, and I'm transitioning to my role as a father. And when you hit the door, go in and say, I'm a father now, and leave the work stuff.
Even with screaming kids and
crying. Even with screaming kids.
You're not going to turn back around and be wait a minute, I need another 5 minutes.
Yeah. And that is really hard to do, but if you can kind of catch yourself and say, I'm leaving work, in that car, and I'm going to go be a dad. Do it as best you can. And so then after that, when the kids go to bed, my job is to be a husband. Mm-hmm. And so we spend time together. We talk. We might go on a date night, play games, watch TV, whatever it may be. And so that's it. When you have those, I don't even have that many roles, but those roles take up the entire day.
Yeah.
So if
an average day.
Exactly. So you look at that and you say, if I want to be selfish and have just something that only I want to do, if I want to go play a video game or something, it has to happen before I would normally wake up or stay up later. So it's okay to be selfish at 5 a.m. because nobody's requiring your time.
Right.
This is something that the author Jon Acuff says a lot, is be selfish at 5 a.m.
Quitter.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Be as selfish as you want at 5 a.m. No one's going to ask anything of you.
Yeah, because the kids are sleeping. I'm usually sleeping, and no one needs you at 5 a.m.
No one requires your time. No one's going to be showing up. Your boss,
5 a.m. is your time to do what you want.
Exactly. And with that, I think that you can do 5 a.m. or you can do, staying up later than everyone else. There's a lot of studies that say staying up later than everyone else isn't that great for you.
Right.
In terms of productivity and just overall health.
Yeah.
Healthfulness, right?
Healthfulness, right.
Healthfulness, is that a word?
Yes, it is a word.
So anyways, that's kind of what my day looks like in terms of dividing that time.
Yeah, and that's going to look different for you. Mm-hmm. But the important thing is to figure out what your average day looks like, the roles that are most important, what are your priorities, and where do you want your time to be invested. Yeah. Because not only are each roles stealing from each other, but the outside world is constantly trying to steal our time and our attention. And so we have like the top 3 things.
Yeah. So here are our top 3 time sucks. All right, so let's get into it. Number 1, these are in no particular order. These are just some of the most common, according to these studies. No particular order. But so number 1 is traffic. And according to a Gallup poll, Americans spend up to 46 minutes a day sitting in their car. And if you live in California, that could be 4.5 hours.
Or 10.
Little California
you never
joke.
know.
California joke for you. Traffic is tough. It's you have to sit in your car to go to work. Right. And a lot of times, depending on where you live, the only place you can get a job is far away. Yeah. So you have to sit in your car. And there's not a lot that you can do with this a lot of times.
No. Unless you move closer.
You
can you want to do that?
Or get a different job that lives, that's closer
to
where
you live.
To where you live. If you can't do any of those things, maybe just try to redeem that time that you spend in the car. Get an audiobook or listen to a good podcast or do something that's investing in one of your other roles in your life. Mm-hmm. So listening to a book about being a better husband or a better parent is at least making better use of that time than just sports radio or
right. And there's tons of podcasts out there that are amazing. I know I have at least 10 that I listen to, and so there's lots of good ones out there.
Yeah, something you can do.
Mm-hmm. Okay, number 2 is entertainment, and according to a U.S. poll taken by Cohen Company, I don't know. We'll list all the information below if you're interested in looking it up.
It's legit, all right?
It was on the interwebs, all right, guys? The average American spends 3 hours a day watching television. That's crazy to me.
Nuts.
Because 3 hours to me is I could get so much done in 3 hours.
If I had 3 hours.
The entire house could be cleaned in 3 hours.
And TV's tough because it's, again, like all these other things, it's designed things. It's designed to suck you in and to keep your attention for long periods of time.
Right.
And because that's how they make money is with the commercials that you're watching in between that show that you really like. Mm-hmm. And this is one of the reasons that we just got rid of cable completely. And not that we've
never had cable.
Yeah, we haven't had, not since we were really early married. But we got rid of it, and what we do is just on-demand stuff. So we'll do Apple TV, and then we'll either rent a show or rent a movie or do Netflix. Mm-hmm. And what that allows us to do is to decide when we're going to watch a show.
Right. We make time.
Mm-hmm. We say, this is a time that we've set aside. We're going to spend that time. We're going to watch a particular show. Right. Versus on TV, they're deciding when you're watching their show. They're saying, oh, this comes on at 8. You go okay, I got to move around my schedule to watch it at 8. We're not into that. And we might have to watch a show a day late.
Yeah.
and be after everyone, but that's okay because we're deciding where it fits into our schedule, and we're in control of that. So.
And it's not to say, I mean, I know a lot of people like to watch TV and like relax after a really long day. Like,
yeah, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. But again, like what you were saying is make sure you've intentionally spent time in all of your other roles before sitting down and just, I hate to say wasting time because I'm not a TV watcher, but if that's your thing, just make sure that your other roles are fulfilled with your time before you watch TV.
Yeah, it's just a fine line because I like a lot of different shows, but it's a fine line between saying, okay, I'm going to watch this show and then just sitting and surfing channels and trying to find something to watch and just letting 3 hours get away from you.
Right. Yeah.
So, all right. So the last one is, no surprise here, the internet.
I don't want to talk about this one. Can we just skip it?
Specifically, social media, more specifically, Facebook.
Yeah.
And this is a kick in the guts to us for sure.
Right.
Because there have been many a time where Facebook has, come between us and something we should be paying attention to.
Yeah, like my kids saying, "Mommy, can you please get me this? Mommy, please give me this, Mommy." And I'm like staring at my phone.
Mommy. Like, oh, snap.
And I also would lump in like texting in this group because I'm a texter. Like I love texting and like staying in touch with people, and it's so fast just to be like, "Hey, I'm thinking about you." Send instead of being on the phone.
With a text, it's the same thing. It
takes
pings
your time,
you,
right?
And it's pulling you away from whatever role that you're trying to be intentional with, and saying, "No, pay attention to this instead."
Yeah.
And that's the nature of smartphones, and that's just how it is. So you have to get a grip on it and do what you can. This study said this was a U.S. poll, an average of an hour a day on Facebook.
An hour,
and that's. I was like, wow, that's pretty low. I'm probably worse than that. On some days.
I don't know. I have to really figure out how much time I spend on it.
But yeah, just put your phone down and leave it down. Turn off notifications if you have to. If it's becoming an issue, turn it off and say, I'm not going to let my phone tell me when I should look at it. I'm going to decide, okay, this is a good time to check Facebook and see what's going on.
Yeah, and this week when we were talking about this show and like planning for it, I have decided that, well, I've moved my computer into our bedroom out of like the main living area, so that way I'm not like tempted to get on the computer, because once I'm on the computer and the kids are playing, like I just get sucked into it, and like really quick, like, oh, I just need to look this up turns into like an hour. So now that my computer's out of the room, like I don't struggle with spending as much time on there, but I just need to figure out something with texting, because that's bad. Maybe if I put my phone in a different room until I leave, I don't know. I'll figure something out. But I do notice that that's my struggle is texting.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. Communication. Yeah. So, to wrap it up here, ultimately, we believe that every day is a gift.
Yes.
Right? Every day that you wake up, be excited that you have this gift of another day to make decisions and to have these roles and to be intentional inside of those roles.
And it sounds so cliche.
Yeah, it does. It does sound cliche, but it's so true.
Yeah.
And think of your life as every single minute, and think, how is this minute helping me fulfill whatever the role that I'm deciding that I'm doing? And how am I making other people better and my family better? And how am I improving, my life?
Yeah.
Think of it on a minute-to-minute scale, and hopefully that'll help you overall.
I think also it helps when, especially for me, when I go out through my day, or when I go throughout my day, is when I'm a mom, and I'm present, and I need to be there with the kids and not staring at my phone or my computer. And then during nap time, like that's my time to get stuff done, or after they go to bed. And then after the kids are in bed, then that's my time to hang out with him and to invest in our marriage. And I think if you're intentionally looking at your day like that, like you're prioritizing your roles and separating your time, I feel like you will invest a lot better. And you'll invest your time a lot better into the relationships that are important to you. So I know it's hard. Like I struggle with it, and it's really difficult. And there's tons of distractions, and
we had a heck of a time finding the time to talk through the show and get this worked out. So it's just
we always have a struggle doing the show.
It's a constant reminder. Finding time.
Yeah.
So.
But you could also make a date night out of it. You could sit down and talk about like your priorities and what an average day or like Monday through Friday, like what does your day look like, and how are you going to separate your time? And then like on a weekend, that's going to look different. Like how are you going to separate your time since as a family? And so anyways, that's a great date night idea. You can sit down and talk about it.
Give it a shot.
Get on the same page.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for choosing to use your time to watch our show. And hopefully this helps you invest other time better in your life. And email us if you have any questions. Subscribe if you haven't. And have a good day or night or whatever.
Bye.
Bye.